Welcome back. In this video, we're going to learn how to make a controller stand for your PS5 gamepad that'll hold the controllers in a standing position. So the first thing you want to do is grab a rectangular piece of cardboard, and I want to particularly choose something that'll hold both the controllers, but if you have one controller, feel free to make it for a smaller version. I'm going to use my ruler and mark the center of it. That gives me a reference for how I'm going to place these controllers. Next, I take a bottle cap, which is just over 3 centimeters in diameter, and I think that'll be sufficient enough to hold both the controllers in a standing upright position. You next want to press firmly against the cardboard so that you leave a mark, and that'll help you to establish a curvature using that bottle cap. Make the holes appropriately for both the controllers, and interestingly enough, you can expand this controller stand if you have more than 2, let's say 3. You can make this cardboard piece even bigger to have a bigger stand. But anyway, you next want to use your X-Acto knife and cut out that curvature. Be patient with it, just rock it back and forth, and from the other side, you're not going to get it through in one cut, but what you will do is leave some marks on the other side, so I'm using my pen in this case, and essentially just tracing around that curvature, so that helps me to establish another reference mark, so I can use my X-Acto knife once again, and next I can hopefully puncture that through, and there you have that beautiful clean cut. And just like that, you just want to continue on with all the 4 holes, and you're going to end up with something like this. To make sure that the controller stands pretty firmly onto the stand, we want to make a little cylindrical shape underneath the surface. So I took this strip of cardboard and peeling out the top layer, and I end up with this wiggly structure. I'm going to curve this structure using some hot glue and just basically have a cylindrical shape. You want to use some hot glue around that shape and stick it onto the circumference of the hole. Repeat for all the holes. And by the way, all of these measurements will be provided in the planner, so don't forget to check that out. But after you do all of those steps, you're going to end up with something like this. And we're now going to make the frame of the cardboard controller stand. So again, using a long strip of cardboard, and I'm going to curve the end portions of this strip, and that helps me achieve a beautiful curved look onto the very front as well as the back. But if this seems a little too complicated for you, you can even make this controller stand more like a rectangular prism as well. But I first start by using some hot glue towards the ends and then sticking that in place. And once that is firmly stuck onto the surface, I then readjust with some hot glue and essentially just putting it from the inside. You want to take that same strip and just work around your way until you're done with the back as well. In case you have any extra strips, you can always use your pen to make a little mark and cut out the extra bit to make sure that your cardboard are nice and flush. You can next use your X-Acto knife and basically trim out the excess bits that's sticking out, and make sure you have a very clean corner cut. Once you do all of that, I'm gonna add a little strip of cardboard towards the middle to add some rigidity, because you're gonna often be putting your controller in and out, and this middle portion will be pretty fragile, so don't neglect the step. For the last step of this project, you just want to add a little cover to cover the bottom. I initially thought about neglecting this step just because I was feeling lazy, but why not? And of course, don't forget to trim out these extra bits that are sticking out. And this is what it looks like after all the decorations. I just used some electric tape, some writing, drawing, and markers, but do whatever you want to do to suit your needs. Be sure to hit that like button and subscribe to my channel if you haven't, and stay tuned for my upcoming videos.